In 2011, former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Admiral Mike Mullen, famously proclaimed that the national debt is the single greatest risk to our nation. When I was elected in 2014, 7 years ago, the national debt was $18 trillion. In just 7 years, Madam Speaker, we have increased the debt by more than $10 trillion. In fact, we've spent more in the last year than the annual economic production of every single country in the world, with the exception of our own, China and India.
$8 trillion. With a number that large, it's hard to really understand how much taxpayer money we're really talking about. Well, $28 trillion is $1 million 28 million times. Or another way to think about it is it's 28 with 12 zeros behind it. Spending far beyond our means and watching the debt clock grow astronomically higher has real implications for the future of our country and for our citizens. While many out there would like to believe that we can go on spending without some sort of restraint doesn't have any consequences, common sense tells us that's not true. Because of overspending, the debt held by Americans has already eclipsed the size of our economy.
Fiscal responsibility is vital for a stable, strong, and long-lasting economy. Under the current administration and Democrat control in Congress, there are actual federal efforts being conducted at the taxpayer's expense to redefine gender and demonize traditional American values. We must put a stop to this nonsense, especially on the taxpayer's dime. I have always told my children the government has no money except for what they extract from the American people.
The American people know how to balance their own budgets at home. Businesses know how to balance budgets, and yet this irresponsible government doesn't. I would implore my colleagues on the other side of the aisle to follow the great work of the Republican Study Committee and look at the budget that we put forward that balances in 5 years, bring it to the floor of the House, and allow us to have an open debate, go through the Budget Committee, go to the floor, and actually have a debate about the fiscal health and responsibility of this country so that our kids and grandkids can inherit the greatest country in the history of the world rather than $30 trillion of debt.
It's a threat to the U.S. dollar as our global reserve currency, and as the Fed continues to accommodate it, we are destroying the value of our dollar. This is an essential duty of our body here in the House of Representatives, and so it is an incredible honor to have 3 of the bills that I've drafted be included in the proposal.
My legislation, H.R. 2729, the Finish the Wall Act, is included in the language of the underlying bill. On President Biden's first day in office, he halted the use of border security funds allocated by Congress, ended all ongoing construction of the border wall, and implemented very weak border policies that have had dire consequences for our nation.
The bill would require authorities to keep illegal immigrants in custody if they have been charged with a crime that has resulted in death or serious bodily injury. I am pleased that my proposal was included in the Republican Study Committee budget. After all, budgets reflect priorities.
This team has done remarkable work to try to keep money where it belongs in the wallets of the hardworking taxpayers. This RSC budget proposal would balance the federal budget within 5 years of implementation, and I'm thrilled to say that it is the most pro-life budget ever. The RSC budget would cut federal spending by $14.4 trillion over 10 years and cut taxes by $1.9 trillion.